What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Galaxy Podcast. It has been a good while. It has been, I think the last time I uploaded was like 21 or 22. I think it's been a solid minute. So welcome back, especially if you're here. If you've listened to old podcasts, I'm sorry. Those are absolutely dog shit. And my audio, I had AirPods while I was doing it. Now I got my headphones, I got my mic, I got two monitors. I can't wait to see where this brings the podcast. The podcast is gonna go far, and I can't wait. Now, this is an after recording of after I did the podcast. So first off, this podcast has been recorded. I had to do two takes of it. My first time my mic cut out, so now I'm doing. I'm gonna have to do voiceovers and cut in between. So like in between me and my guest, I will have to cut in. I put like, it's going to be like this. I'm going to cut in and I'm going to put what I say. And I'm going to respond to him and I'm going to say what I had to say. Try and put exactly what I was going to say in the beginning. But I hope you guys enjoy. I plan to do these weekly again. I really hope you guys enjoy these. If you guys enjoy it, make sure to like it, comment, leave a rating. Whatever you can to support it, share it with somebody that you think deserves to know what I'm talking about. Now, to get into the podcast today joining us is Dangerous from Galaxy Gaming LLC. He is the owner of Galaxy Gaming LLC that I am the general manager of. So I'm excited to have him on the podcast as the first guest of the new podcast. It's the same podcast. This is episode 3. I'm glad to have you guys back. Now let's get into it.
I'm doing well. It's been a long day today, but getting through it. Was hoping and praying about this podcast to make sure I did good. I haven't been on a podcast in a minute actually since T was around. So, um, besides that, good. The day's been going great. I can say that it's been good.
So I know that you took over Galaxy Gaming LLC back in May. I think it was May. You ran it. You were the co-owner with T before he left. How is it now that you are now the owner, and how's it going with the org, especially running it by yourself? How's it going now?
At the beginning, it was super, super, super frustrating and stressful doing it by myself. But as the months have progressed, and as I set goals for myself and been strict about the things that I want to do and still learned in the process, it's been very easy, I would say. And handling all this stuff and managing everybody, making sure the org is active, make sure that we're going in the right direction regarding getting stuff done and taken care of. Um, I don't know how I do it by myself. Usually orgs have like a group of people, usually around I want to say 3 to 4. I'm fortunate enough to have groups of people, but even though I have groups of people, they're all split up doing their own different thing for the org that I have planned. So I'm just planning on getting more people eventually.
I know what you mean with the groups of people. I mean, you have to have a solid group of people because I had general managers. So with Frosted, I had people that were wanting to be general managers, and they're like, "We've been here for so long. We want to do more for the org," and they'll come and I'll put them on as a general manager, and they don't do anything. They just sit there and they aren't productive, and they're like begging for the position. And then here they are, don't do nothing. So got to have a solid group of people. And I mean, I was 16 years old. I was dedicated. I started Frosted Vipers in 2021. That was early 2021. I would have been a sophomore in high school. It would have been fall. No, it would have been the spring of my sophomore year in high school. I just turned 16. So I was 16 years old with this organization. People would have swore I was older. People would have swore that had a group, but it was just me. I was 16 years old. Get on my phone. I'd recruit and do everything myself. Graphic design. Well, I had some help from Lego. I would do graphic design, everything on my own and post it. No social media managers, no recruiters, no captains. I was the captain of my COD team. I was doing everything on my own at 16 years old in the middle of class. I'd have football, I'd have track, I'd have work, I'd have powerlifting. I didn't have time. I did whatever I could and I was dedicated. You got to put in effort because if you don't have the effort, you're going to fail. You will fail and there's just nothing to it. But it's worth it in the end. All my teams, sometimes it's worth it. You got to know when to quit. But my teams, they were all coming together. I had some bad times. My COD team did great with Iconic, Helloface. Those people, they won us some championships. And then once Iconic left, I couldn't keep a COD team. Warzone, we had a really good going with Venom. As much as we aren't on the same page anymore, I love the guy and I love what he did for my team. He brought a lot of Warzone victories to us, and he pushed them out like no tomorrow. Then we couldn't get a captain to stay. I'd bring up players that I thought would be better and people that wanted to be better, and they just couldn't do it. And then we tried Halo, couldn't get any players. About to do Rocket League, couldn't do it. We had Rebirth. We had that team for years, and then they wouldn't produce much. And then I think they only had like 1 or 2 championships in 2 years, and they had the same team. And I tried to get them to recruit or do more training, and they just wouldn't. But then they wanted more from me, but then they wouldn't produce in small tournaments. And then I ended up losing my captain to my Rebirth team, took my Rebirth team from me. So I lost Rebirth, and then he took my other general manager, and then all my teams were coming to a close. And I had Apex team. He was running that. Teams weren't recruitment wasn't going very good. He took him. And then when he was gone, I was like, yeah, it's just the end. I got to go. And then I just flipped off my Discord, flipped off everything. Shit just happens, man. And I was, how old was I? I would have been 17. I just got out of a breakup and all that shit just collapsed. And I was like, fuck this. I'm done. It was a 3.5 year relationship. And I was just like, I'm done, man. I have to rebuild this. I have no multiplayer team. I have some decent Warzone players. I have no Halo team, no Apex team, and no Rebirth team. I was gone. It was starting over from the bare minimum. And Warzone at the time was as dead as with Caldera. So I would have to restart completely.
Yeah, and I really want to speak towards that. You spoke on a lot of valid points. I don't want to say the wrong thing because it's on the internet, but when I look back at everything, I want to look back at this later. I do want to tell myself that all the stuff that you went through to get to where you are is worth it. Just don't make sure that you double check the people that you have involved with you along the way. And there's no shots towards anybody, but I mean that on a general scale. So, like you were saying, we're bringing people into Viper and what you believed in and stuff like that. Yes, I at some point in time when this org was an idea, it was an idea. And I was fully invested at that moment. It was like different stages of this. It wasn't just like overnight. It was like, okay, we're here. What's next? We're here. What's next? And it's always been that repeated cycle. I can depict from those situations that it's always been that cycle in which the org has moved on to its next step. Like it's just always been like, okay, we started in March. What's next? We got all the foundation done. Essential stuff we needed with social media. May came around. Okay, we need a COD team. Got that. COD team didn't do so well. I loved them to death. It just didn't work out. June came around, no COD team. July came around, or completely dead. We have to revamp. We have to get things together. So literally from July, August, September to October, we were just like getting social media up. We'll be on here and there, making goals, doing ideas. And it still wasn't as serious. Like we still were like not taking it like we should. Like it wasn't like at its cornerstone. Like we were saying that we are gonna put in time, but life would happen and then we would get off track. Or I would feel in my experience, I would feel like, hey, I can just do this later. And that kinda it didn't hurt me, but it could have the org could have been more farther than what it was if I would have put more time into it, like what I'm doing now. So at an early stage, you know how orgs grow after you see the impact of an org after 4 to 5 years. I don't know if you know that. I've done my research well enough to know how orgs work in esports scene. They usually show a big presence within 4 to 5 years. And then T thing was like, yeah, after 4 to 5 years, um, I want us to be here and I want to have this go done and this go done. But we kind of didn't align with that a little bit because my thing is with I've been a part of like 20 different orgs. It's like I feel like that's a waste. No offense to anybody. If where people are 4 to 5 years, I'm already there. Like I'm already there. I'm already social media wise there, doing stuff like that orgs took a while to do there, funding. And it's mostly just like it's been me and T and then after that it's just been me. So I figured like at this point in time when you spoke on who you get and who you put around you, it's really about who you put around you. I honestly believe that if the people that you invite aren't as happy and joyful as they were when the first that they met you and it's been a month and a half into the org or 2 months, then you have to pull them to the side and be like, hey, do you really want to do this? Because I didn't have awful days. I didn't seen plenty of awful things. People leaving orgs, people taking people with them, which happened recently, which is what you spoke about earlier, whether if you noticed that or not. And to like you have to say, okay, at the end of the day, these are people. People will come and go. It's people that I met 10 years ago. I'm 30. Now it's probably been 15 years ago that I met when I started joining clans because it was clans back then. It wasn't orgs that I haven't heard of since forever. Like I don't even know what they're doing with their lives. And those are the same people that'll come to you, interview you for the org, and be like, "Hey, I really want to do this," but don't know what comes with it. They don't know how to get over a mountain. Like all they see is the hype. The hype only lasts so long. You hype about joining the org for a week or two, and then you have to figure out what you're going to do next. And a lot of people don't know how to get over that ridge and how to. And even org owners, like they'll be hyped for them. It lasts longer. It's like 6 to 8 months, and then when they run into an issue or they run into a problem, they be so caught up in the problem that they don't realize that hey, I have a business to run. I have stuff I want. I want this to be big. So for me, it's like when I run into those problems, I'm like, if I stay too long on this, then this won't get done. And I'd rather do this and see the org thrive and not know that, people not know that I'm doing it. And it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Me not complaining about my problems on social media and stuff like that. And me just push the org. If you ask anybody about Galaxy right now, at this exact moment, they would swear it's like 4 to 5 people running it. You would if based off of social media how it looks isn't it's all about how it looks and I put a lot of time into this. My girl, I'm very thankful for my girlfriend regarding to her supporting me and stuff like that and like, allowing me to put that time into it. But you gotta have the time and you gotta have the effort. Um, I know I said a lot, but you gotta have the time and you gotta have the effort to sum it up.
One thing org owners really struggle with is that obviously a lot of them are amateurs. A lot of them will have like some type of management job in a big league, or I mean not a league, still a league, or a just a team where they have some type of leadership opportunity. Then they're like, oh, I can go and create my own team, and then they're going to create their own team. And I was one of them. I was 16. I went and created it. I was not professional. I tried to be as professional as possible, and I ran my team, but I did not have the experience as I do today. A lot of the things what they need to do, organizations, amateur orgs, if you want to be successful, you got to treat it as a business. You have to. And another thing is that you have to um, not treat it like just a community. You have to treat it like a business. You and when you have a business background, like for example, I'm not studying business, but I am researching business because I'm going to take over a business. Um, you got to treat it like a business or you will fail. And I don't think I'll ever go back to a team and like own one ever again. But if I have a management position, this is business. This isn't no playing games. And another thing for Oregon, especially if you're in Call of Duty, you the biggest struggles. I've struggled with it. I was lucky that I didn't struggle with it for my first few Call of Duties. I think I went through 3 Call of Duties, and my first 2 I didn't struggle. But keeping the team going to the next COD, you rather keep it, the whole team, or you lose it all. There's no in between. And you have to be super lucky if you keep the whole team, and you got to know how to keep those players. And Oregoners struggle with that because if their main thing is Call of Duty and they lose their main team, you're screwed going into the next season. And um, when you go into the next season, you just got to be ready to go, and especially with all the leagues coming in, and you just got to be ready. But my team did pretty good doing it. I've seen other orgs you go to next Call of Duty and they're just gone. They just never came back. I'm just like, where the hell did they go? You know, and changes just can kill Call of Duty, or like remastering Call of Duties. Same Call of Duties like MW2 and MW3. Yeah, that's cool and all. I'm tired of MW, man. I'm tired. But COD doesn't care about their players, especially amateurs. They only cater to the big players because when we speak up, they're like, who gives a fuck? But when you have other players like me or you, Dangerous, it's not, they don't care. I mean, we have our opinion and we can voice as much as possible, but we can't get it out there enough that we want a change, you know? And they don't cater. And even local leagues, well, not just local, but like OLLs, online leagues, they don't cater to the player. You get on, you play for money. That's it. Give the player something they want to. You want to go, for me, I want to go into experience. Excuse me. Go into experience, and you are playing like you're actually in a league, and like you're actually a pro, and people are watching their stats, and people are marketing you, and people are saying how they've lost this much, and this player's doing this player's doing that, they do this, and a team, they don't care, and you just go and compete for money, and then it's over. And players, they don't care anymore, they just want money. But like, I understand like that not a lot of players care about that, but the players that do, it kills them, and then the whole community just comes, go and plays for money. I feel like if a local league, if they did something like that, it could blow up. And it doesn't have to be something big, it doesn't have to be something small, but if you have something like that, it could really attract a lot of people, you know? And you wouldn't have to, and we've lost other people that have done that for amateurs, and it's just so sad when that shit goes. And I mean, it is what it is, but damn.
So, two things I want to speak on regarding that. Yes, Call of Duty doesn't care about the players, and that's been shown to us numerous amount of times. I'm a big advocate for the lore scene because it's just like society. And you might realize this as well. Call of Duty is like society. You have the higher class people, which would be the pros, and then you have the lower class people, which would be the amateur scene. But what Call of Duty doesn't realize is that what's funding them is the lower class scene, and that the lower class scene needs way more attention than a group of players that you're paying, what is it, $1 million for a year and participating in traveling and stuff like that. They're those people are the ones that's giving you your money, your bread and butter. So you need to cater to their needs and what they want and what's been sticking out. Yes, you want to try new things. Yes, you want to grow. I understand that. Yes, you want to be different, but at what cost? You have millions of assets, players that you can test games with, stuff like that. Put people on contracts, but you refuse to do it. And then on top of that, you take away stuff that we've had several times. MLG. for one. Um, and then several other ones. You just shut them down. You don't want us to be a part of our own happiness. Like this is what's keeping us involved in Call of Duty. And when you take stuff away from us, take away that stuff away from us, it's like we have it's a bad taste in our mouth. Now we don't participate in it. Now you lose people that's involved with Call of Duty. And the ones that are staying that are like fighting fighting for their lives to defend Call of Duty. For what reason, I don't know. I would never understand that. But at some point, it has to become about the players. And at this point, like you spoke on earlier, we are working on a project to help at least bring that flair back, um, and create an environment in which everybody can, thrive and be themselves, win some money, stuff like that. Without their help, I don't plan on selling selling out to Call of Duty or involving myself, putting myself in a position in which it would involve them being involved with it because they're known to have you involved, and when they're done with a project, they're done, and when they're done, you're done too. So that's too much of a risk factor. I'd rather be for the people, and that's how I am for the org. I'm being for the people and taking the ones who want to do it, like we were speaking about earlier, versus the ones who say they want to do it. I kind of learned over these past couple of months that the person in the interview is not who you want. It's the person who's willing to put in the work. So they'll come to you with ideas they're already doing it themselves. It's not, hey, I have a dream of doing this. It's, hey, I'm already attempting to do this dream. I'm actively doing this. I'm actively doing that. Those are the type of people I'm gonna go for, because those are the people that matter, and those are the people at the end of the day that's gonna keep the same running. So yeah, this is Call of Duty. I don't know. I feel like it was way better when I was younger. It was way like more involved, more hype, highest viewings in a long time. They would have tons of people. Now when I go on Twitch, it's League of Legends and all these other games. And when Call of Duty streams, it's not that many people. This is all over the place, and I don't get it. So I'm gonna try to do my best part for the community. That's the only thing I can do. Just to give to others opportunity that I didn't have when I was younger is my motto. And I'm trying to stick by that while doing it the right way as much as I can.
It is hard. Uh, Call of Duty is dying. Like when you go to Twitch, nobody's streaming it, and it's hard to stream. There's tons of small streamers. They all got like one viewer. Um, I'll stream COD. I'll I'll stream it a lot, and um, I'll make clips, good fucking clips. Like I pop off and I make them funny. Shit just doesn't work. I mean, I post them on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Nothing. Maybe like 10 to 50 views. Damn. But then I go and post Roblox. 800. Okay. 1,000. Damn. I mean, it's COD is so hard to compete in streaming anymore. It's just not possible, you know? I mean, you just can't do it. And another thing, players want orgs to just pay for them. They don't want to stay. They want to be funded and that's it. Like you go on Twitter and you need a team of 4. I experienced this in Frosted because I needed a team for a league. I go on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Team of 4 looking to be funded for this land. Dude, they have no experience. They've never stuck around for a team. They're a free agent team of 4 looking for funding for a reason. They have no experience, no championships to prove for them, and you just can't do it. You just can't. They're not competitive worthy, in my opinion. They're just not, and you just can't fund them. They just want the funding, and they after they get funded, they don't want to stick. I never funded them, but like big orgs or amateur orgs, we need players, and we got to get players together, and we need a team of 4 quick. And not unless you fund for this land, dude. Who cares? We're not gonna fund for your land, dude. I'm sorry, but we're not. I mean, we're not some big org. And no big org's going to do that in the first place. But another thing is, it's kind of resolves around how I had a bad reputation in Frosted. I'm trying to clear my name. I I completely shut myself off. So like I didn't talk for like 4 months. I deleted Discord off my phone. I didn't stream. Didn't do nothing. So uh, I'm trying to clear my reputation. I understand I've done bad things, and that's because I was young and immature. I understand that I'm still young, and that was not that long ago. But people remember the past, but not the good. I done lots of good things. I'm not trying to brag on myself, but like everybody does it. You always go blah 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 blah, and then but they did this, and that always sticks out the most. But like I've done bad shit. I mean, not like super bad shit, but I have a reputation, and people don't like me. And that started with the league. So I had a league. I was tired of the shit going on with other leagues, so I started my own league. Well, I had Frosted in it, and as an org owner, I know the rules. I know the ins and I know the outs. And it's your job as a org captain, player, or owner to read the rules. It's even stated in the dang rules. You have to read the rules to know them. And I know them by code. And I know them like the back of my head. So I've read them. I made them. And yes, that's a little bit of an up, but like an org owner should read those and tell their players you can't do that. Or don't do that. Or the players should even read up on that. That's their responsibility. So I tell my players, hey, you need to mention this. That's against the rules. Because I'll watch. I mean, I'm not like in the game, but I'll watch the Twitch stream, or I'll watch my players' Twitch stream. Like, hey, they can't do that. That's against the rules. That's a forfeit on the map. And people get shitty about that, and they said that I was making up rules to help my team win, which is bullshit because, I mean, we won championships, but here's the thing. We got shit on by Adopt. And yes, Adopt didn't like me for a while, but like, they were better than us. And like, they knew the rules, they read the rules, they knew the ins and outs. Not these small teams that just come in and compete. You just can't do it. So that's how I got it. And then like the fails of my team, I was trying to do it without funding. A lot of people has to fund it, which a business you need to fund. No matter what, you have to fund it to start a business. I was trying my most to not fund it, so then I could be like, hey, I started this with $0. I built it with $0, competed, got money, did everything, completely paid for off winnings. But that's one thing I struggle with, which I was trying to do that for a reason. Then again, I was 16 in high school. I didn't have all the money in the world to throw out a organization con team. You know what I mean? And then I didn't know how to market. That's one thing I've gotten better at is marketing. And that can go to lost my train of thought there. That can go towards me growing myself. I learned how to market, and I'm building my brand. As of this recording, that I'm recording this, Saturday morning, I had 20 TikTok followers. Last night at 3 a.m., right before I went to bed off stream, after I had the big stream with Pointy, I had 100. And then, wait, no. Sorry. What was it? God damn it, I'm losing track. Last night, I hit 200, okay? I hit 200. I'm already at like 240 as of this recording. I had 240 as of now, 200 last night. Yesterday morning, I had 100. And the night before, I had 20. I'm growing. My Instagram, I'm at 350. Twitter, I'm at 200. I had 30 before. I did a experiment. I created a Dallas Cowboys fan account. I was going to see how long I could get it to 1,000 followers. Now, don't get me wrong. It took me 6 weeks to get that to 1,000 followers, and that was strictly just Instagram. I got to 1,000 followers and quit, which, I mean, it was starting to get out of hand, but I could easily get to 1,000 followers. I marketed and learned how to do it. Now, that's self-taught. I could easily learn a new way to market, and I'm more experienced and I'm more on a business side that I want to grow. I'm growing my brand. I want to grow this. I want to grow the podcast. I just want to grow everything. And that's another thing. I could never push Frosted enough. And we had a plan of bringing back Frosted. And since I know better about marketing, I could push my players' marketing, and then I would get them out to, like, we'd get more eyes and attraction, you know. But so I learned, and I'm smarter and better, and I'm trying to make my rep better. And I was young, immature, 16. I mean, there's just not much there. And I thought about just wiping everything clean. New logo, new name, new everything. And completely starting new and going back to, or just switching names, and then people forget about me because I didn't show my face until I started getting into streaming again. Like, I got a face cam, and now I'm getting big into streaming. Now I'm going to get into podcasts. I wanted to wait till I was out of high school so people couldn't, like, put shit on me, and but now I'm out of high school, show my face. I'm serious about streaming now, so I'm gonna show my face. Only one person's done it and not shown their face, and that's H2O Delirious. There's tons of people that try it, and you can't name barely one. Almost every time you got to show your face. So I decide if I want to take this serious, I got to show my face. So here I am. I mean, um, I'm trying to be better. I know how to be better, but I could have completely rebranded myself, but now I just can't. I have to stick to BlueStar Gaming. That's just how it is. And another thing about Dangerous, I met him, and he was serious. He seemed professional. When I was in my interview for content creator, he was asking the questions. He was very engaged, and he was the co-owner. I mean, he was asking lots of questions. He had a big rep in it, and he was he always seemed like he had a foot in the door about everything. And I'm glad that he put the chance on me at GM, and here I am. And he took the chance on me at content creator, because at content creator, they in January, I got interviewed. They enacted a rule after the interview that I need 500 followers on one platform. Well, I had 500 on my Discord, but I didn't. No, I had 450 on my Discord, and I didn't have uh, like I didn't have enough on other platforms. So I had like 800 total or 900 total across all platforms. I grew it in 3 months to over 1,500. And if we go back to that today, I'm probably over, I'd probably say like 17, 1,800. And now I'm GM. I'm glad that he did that. And I was just consistent, being consistent with what I wanted to do in marketing. I grew myself, and I'm glad he took the chance on me, because now we're working on a big project together, and I can't wait to see what Galaxy brings. I can't wait for me to be right there alongside of them for the success.
I did want to speak on what you said about like working, taking yourself out of your comfort zone. I think that kind of sums it up. And growing. Um, I've done that a lot. I've probably been part of a lot. I've been a part of a good amount of orgs. A lot of them stuck with me for a lot of bad shit. You remember the bad, you remember the worst things, and you remember the good things. That's for sure. And when it came to Galaxy, and I'll just speak really quick on it, it was T's idea. T wanted to do it. Panda. Um, Panda came to me. He seen that I was doing the org thing by myself. I already had came out of a bad position. He was like, Dangerous. I got a person, somebody who's trying to start their own org. They were leaving whatever they were doing to create their own thing. And in my head, I'm like, bro, I can't do this no more. I've been through this so many times, like 15 times, bro. I didn't been a part of arguing, people fighting, people leaving, never showing up again, racism, like just money laundering, like all types of crazy stuff, bro. And it's just been like, I was like, whoever I need, whoever I work with, they have to be like serious. It has to be a business, and they have to take it serious. So when I met T, he had the attributes. It was kind of some things we need to work on that I finally just went and did by myself. But I say that say the stuff that you've been through, it makes you a stronger person, and it also makes you smarter. The reason why you went through a whole bunch of negative shit is because you didn't know the solution to that negative problem. You would have resolved it to begin with if you already knew. It would never ran into the problem. So I say that to say that yes, you're going to start over. Yes, you're going to start off in a lower position, but eventually, like you said, when you met me, I was at my peak high with the org. Like I was like doing all types of shit, like just constant ideas, being in meetings every single week, meeting new people. But then I had to realize I had to slow down. And just to speak on your interaction, and just for you alone, just to have you outside looking in, because you didn't know this. When you first came into the org, and I'm not going to say any names because they're dumbasses, and they're cool, but they're dumbasses. They were speaking about your past, right? And just how you had the interaction with your people, and this is going to it's going to make sense to you. Just how people left you and left you, they only spoke about the negative things about what happened with your interaction. So the people that you know from that was a part of Galaxy said, yeah, he's cool, yeah, he's done this, but this kind of failed. Like this aspect of it was bad, and that's the only thing I can remember. But what stood out with you, because you constantly, I mean, you constantly messaged me over the next 3 months because we did like a temp. You're the first person, no, the second person that we did a temporary contract with because we had a problem with retention. So I was like, I'm not finna just keep letting people into the org for a year and they on this contract. They gonna have to do like it's gonna have to be temporary. So within those 3 months, you did everything and beyond what those people that said something about you, you outshined what they said, to be honest with you. Because at first I wasn't paying it no attention. I was just like, okay, we got another person in the org, they gonna do this. But you kept asking about stuff, I kept asking about doing things. And then when May got there, it was like a no brainer for me. Like everybody that said that they were going to do something around the same time I signed them and got them on board, like they weren't doing anything, but you're the only person still doing something, and you're the only person still asking about things. So it was like, yeah, these people said something about you, but that don't mean shit. You get what I'm saying? Like what y'all saying don't carry no weight no more. It don't carry no weight because at the same time y'all saying stuff, he's still contributing more than what you guys are. Where y'all were here longer than he was, and y'all not even doing anything. So it's like being in that position of hey, I already started at the top, I already did my own org, and not being cocky and just being humble, and then joining somebody, and this is happening over periods of months of time. Like I kid you not, because I was thinking about it every time you would message me. I'm like, damn, okay, he's constantly like messaging me or messaging, asking about this or asking about that. You were very consistent. It's like the gym, like you were saying, like we were talking about earlier. It's about the gym. You were just being consistent on reaching out to us, and just my name. I kept seeing your name, and I couldn't just forget about you. And then all the stuff that you were saying. And one day I just realized, okay, this person is really serious about doing this. Okay, everybody else that's around me that's saying that, hey, I want to do this, but they're not putting in the time to do it. But I really felt like how you just spoke about because some of the stuff you didn't told me in this podcast I didn't know about you, but now it makes sense that you still you even though you said you've removed yourself from those environments that you where you were in charge, you still have that same type of attitude towards stuff that you do, which is hard to find in people, which is why I didn't mind doing the side project that we're working on with you because I feel like at the end of the day, we all need somebody that's going to keep us in check. You should be able to come to me and say, "Hey, Dane, just working on this project. I haven't heard from you in a while." Without you knowing that I'm not gonna get upset. Shit, I didn't been through a whole bunch of bullshit. I'm never gonna get upset. You ask me about something that I'm supposed to be doing anyway. but you had the balls enough to do that, and the balls enough to even give a fuck about it. So it's like, all right, it's a no brainer. I got to get this man in a position of doing something with the org. Shit, he wanted to do it. We can do it. Let's start it. And then it's just another thing off my list. But it's hard. It's hard to find those people. And I want to open your eyes up to something that I've done. And the org's only been around a year and a half. I've reached out to get this number wrong. 6 people. I reached out to 6 people. All did the same things that you did, right? Out of those six, four four of them left. Like they left their org. They're no longer doing it. I met them day one Galaxy, DM'd them, said, "Hey, I'm starting this org. I'm taking it super serious. In the near future, we might can work together." 6 months later, July hits. We had our downfall. Me and T were trying to pick things back up. Reached out to them again. Said, "Hey, I know we all have the same goals. I said you guys are, still maintaining your orgs or whatever. Whoever it was at the time, reached out to him. Didn't say nothing to me. December gets. We sent several of our teams to Lands event already. We didn't had the little viral fight on whatever. Reached out to them. Our name's starting to get bigger on social media. That people are starting to notice us. Reached out to them again. Oh man, like, and I've been here along the way. I've been hearing things about that orgs doing bad, but it's still been. Oh man, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna just try to ride it out. February gets here. Out of those 6 people, 2 people contact me back and be like, "Yeah, man, I'm really trying to do this with your org." But note that at that time, whatever they had going on already diminished. It was like it was no longer big for them. Everybody had left, and they were just trying to cling on. And people that cling on, they're worth no value to you because they'll show you like, "Hey, yeah, I want to do this," but when they get in a position, they won't have any thrive. They won't have any like fight or willpower to do anything anymore. It's all gone. So why would I want you in something that I've been asking you about for a year and you've been throwing me off to the side? You know what I'm saying? And then once you see your shit is gone, and I'm telling you, hey, I'm really serious about this, and I sit down and have a meeting with you, and I show you my milestones while you've been bullshitting. I've been working, and then at the end of your shit, you want to join. It's a turn off for me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you know when your org is dying. I'm not trying to hear that from no org owner. You know when your shit is dying. You know when the ship is sailing, and and a lot of people lie to their face. Well, lie to your face or try to hold on. Like they'll be like with their teeth on a board about to drown, and they'll still hold on to it. I get it. I understand. It's your baby. You had it 2 or 3 years, but bro, it's about to go. Like it's done. It's done. And like you also said it earlier, it's a business. Like it's a business, bro. People didn't got bought out and did bigger things than even what they're imagining. It's about taking risk, and everybody wants to be their own entity until it's time to be your own entity where you have those mountaintops that you can't get over. Like you lose everybody. You gotta do everything by yourself. You gotta do 1,001 things. Everything that I'm speaking on, I've been through. I literally have to do literally every single fucking thing for this org. And it's either you do it or you don't. Or you find a fucking way or you ask for help. And when you don't ask for help, it dies. I have 2 people in my DMs right now that just died. Their orgs just died and they just came back and I've been messaging them for the past 2 weeks. Hey, if this org dies again, the opportunity's on the table. Another org just died. Um, I reached out to them because I already seen that it was dying. I just knew, and I sent them a long message. He's like, "Hey, give me 2 weeks." Gave this man 2 weeks. Nothing. That was in July. Last week, a week and a half ago. No, a week and a half ago. No, no, no. I'm sorry. 2 weeks ago, he left the org. He stepped down as the CEO, and then after that, the org just realized that they couldn't do it without him, and then they just shut down operations. But no, they already messaged this man 6 months ago about merging with us and about getting the opportunity to grow and bigger the opportunities that he has for the people that he has there. And he told me, no, I'll just write it out and see how it went. I already knew how it was going. I'm not blind to this. I'm already true to this. And I say all that to say is like, if anyone ever watches this, if you ever get this far into the video, if you have an opportunity to grow with somebody and you want to grow and you don't want to be alone, take the opportunity because they are at the same level that you are. If they're owner of an org or owner of a league, they're literally right there with you. And all you got to do is just step into their world and all the ideas, as long as they're willing to accept your ideas and have you involved. And when it gets big, they don't fuck you over. Then just take the opportunity. That's how I view it. No, that I have that same opportunity with other orgs, but I believe too much in Galaxy, so that's not happening.
Now, I've always been a leader, no matter what. I mean, hell, I'm being considered. I play semi-pro football. I'm being considered to be a team captain right now, and that's amazing. Just because of like what I've been through, and then just like being a leader. I'm 19 years old. I own my own house. Leadership is big. I've always had leadership. Maybe in like if other people had more, if I knew they were going to be a better leader than me, I'm leaving them alone. I'm staying the fuck out of it. You know, I'm not the cocky guy that if they can do it better, they can do it better. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, but like if I know I'm better, I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the leader. But if you have somebody that's cocky and they stride and oh, I'm going to be the leader, and that's just not who it is, man. That's not who I am. But if like sometimes I'll be quiet because I'll be like, this guy knows more than I do. Uh, he's going to be a better leader than me, and he can lead us in a better direction because, say, he's like me. I'm the big cocky guy. I stroll, and he might think that I know more than he does. And then he has a better idea, but he stays quiet because he thinks I'm going to lead in the right direction. But I've always had the leadership outlook on everything, business wise, everything. That's just who I was, and I want people to be engaged a lot. I mean, that's why I always reach out to Dangerous and say, "Hey, man, how's it going?" and try and reach out to you and just get stuff going. You know, uh, I tried that with Frosted, and people would just respond and tell me what I want to hear, and then they do the complete opposite. But and then to touch on what you said about quitting, the teams quitting. When Frosted was dying, I still had some teams left, and I did not want to quit. I mean, uh, people know when you're dying. I knew I was dying. I knew for a fact that the orb was on the close, and if I didn't do something, it was going to die. It died, as you know, but otherwise, I probably wouldn't be here because I'd probably be doing other shit. But uh, I didn't know when to quit. I kept going until the very end. I didn't want to. I had an opportunity from Vigor, whatever you want to call him. Uh, I've known that guy since I started my league back in Cold War. His name's Digested Nuts. I was really good friends with him, and then he reached out to me like, "Hey, man, do you want to be a? I think if you joined us, it'd be great." He didn't say that I was dying, but he said that I'd be good opportunities. We're going in the same direction. Now he has over 20,000 followers on Instagram for that team, and they're going to lands like no tomorrow. And I would have been, I think I was going to be a manager. I don't know what I would have been manager of, but I said, "Am I going to be owner?" He said, "No, you're going to be a manager." I said, "Well, then I don't want it." I was cocky. I was young. What do you expect? Looking back on that, obviously foresight's 2020. Uh, I look back at that, and I should have joined. Plain and simple. I mean, I had an opportunity. I could clear my name. Then again, my name was already bad. My league was going to shit. My team was going to shit. My 3.5 year relationship went to shit. So I was like, fuck it. Let's go ball. I just shut everything off. I don't know. To be honest, I don't even remember what I did. I mean, I didn't game. I didn't do shit. I didn't stream. I didn't do Discord. I went to school and I lifted and I started cutting weight. That's what I did. I started cutting weight. But think I started fucking with more girls, but I mean, that's just what it was. But I should have joined. Foresight 2020 should have done it.
Most definitely. I can't wait to see where Galaxy like takes us next couple of months. I have a lot of stuff planned. I am going to start going to these LAN events, showing my face, networking. I here's my thing. I know for sure, me both honestly, I know no one's gonna look at this until I make someone look at this, or if we make someone look at this later on and they figure out, hey, how do I become at being an org owner or doing what I do or doing what you do? And I would say it's about what you do now and how you consistently do it to the future. If you want to lose weight, you got to consistently work out until you get the body that you want. If you want to be the top org owner, you have to consistently do the things that make your org grow and make the people want to come to you. Or it's probably a couple. It takes 4 to 5 years for that to happen if you do it right. But if you stay on that game plan and you do it the right way, you consistently grow, consistently be active, people just flock to you. You won't even have to like say anything. I'm to a point. Well, back in December, I had to reach out to people to join the org. We just did a post um for recruitment for our challengers team this year. Has close to 8,000 views, over 100 likes, 40 reposts. I could barely get people to repost the shit back in December of last year. So I know that all the hard work that I'm doing for times like this when I need people, they come. They come without a problem. They see that what I'm doing is the right thing. That's how I know I'm doing something right. If I don't have to reach out to you and you're reaching out to me, I haven't made a recruitment post since we picked you up for a content creator. I think I believe so. Everything else has been in house. That's how I want it to be. I want it to be like the foundation of optic, the foundation of phase, where you build yourself and your what do they call it? Your aura, your energy is so big that other people want to be a part of what you're doing. Just because you're focused on yourself. It's not the fact that you're asking for these people, it's the fact that you're doing things for people that make people want to join of what you've done for other people. That's the right way to do this. That's the right way to be a successful org owner, successful at anything in life, to be honest with you. Any goal that you want, being consistent and doing it the right way. That's all I really. That's all. If anybody wants the sauce, that's really the sauce.
I'd love to come to Atlanta, but I've never been to one, not once. I didn't go to Frosted, and I'd love to go to an Atlanta event, especially if they're close. And I never sent one with Frosted. I've always wanted to go to one and experience like the environment. And I think it'd be good for the podcast and my brand too. But I mean, another thing with growing, like you said, for Frosted, one of my goals was to have like start everything, recruit as much as you can, and then you don't have to recruit anymore. They come to you. You don't have to worry about it. I mean, some of the big names you might have to recruit, but if you recruit them, you're fine. I mean, um, you won't have to wait, and you can just they're always right there, and even with recruitment, if you want that, you got to be consistent. If you want people to come to you, you got to be consistent. Doesn't matter if that's personal or it is. You just got to be like life. I mean, waking up every day is consistent. Getting up out of bed is consistent. Eating food every day is consistent. Drinking water is consistent. Breathing consistent. I mean, the basic stuff is consistency. I just feel like I might even get a tattoo of consistency, but like you got to be dedicated and consistent, and you can't just wait. Nobody's just gonna be like hand it out on the platter to you and be like, here you go. This is what's gonna happen, and this is how it's gonna happen. Things are gonna be hard. Organizations are businesses. Businesses are hard. Most businesses fail in 4 to 5 years, and you'll know for sure in 5 to 10. It's just how it is. I mean, you just gotta lock in. That's why people say lock in. If you're not locked in, you're gonna get screwed big time, no matter what. it's in life, video games, anything. That's that's my spiel, man.
I appreciate you having me on here and letting some of the stuff that's been on my mind out because I do see a lot of things. I do be wanting to like spread information for people to know. And for people to know what's going on here in Galaxy, and for me to leave something behind, so that way I can look back at it later. 'Cause I'm always trying to do stuff for other people, but no one really asks me about what I'm doing. So I really appreciate this opportunity and for you to be here and ask me about things, and for you to even provide stuff about yourself. No, shout out to you for doing this for sure. I do have some things for you afterwards that might help push and excel that. I'm really good about doing that for other people. And two, the next time someone sees me, and it'll be after me being at several LAN events, and the order will be twice as big as what it is. That's my goal for the next couple months. The org to be twice as big as what it is, and for me to be more active, like showing my face in the scene. And that's all I got for right now.
I really appreciate Dangerous coming on here and actually being a good sport about this and me screwing this up because I've spent probably the last 2 hours working on this, or I don't know, just going in between listening to the first clip, listening to the next clip, and try and put what I said back in. And I know I definitely left out some stuff, but uh, that was the first stream that we did, and now after this one, we're gonna do. This is the second stream that we had, and this is the full thing where I'm actually talking, so you can actually hear me talking, and there's an ending and everything. So uh, I appreciate you guys sticking with me, and uh, I don't really got much to say. I mean, Dangerous, that was a great stream. That's all I got to say. That stream was amazing. Well, I keep saying stream. I've been streaming too much. Podcast, that was amazing. I've had like 8 hours of sleep. Pointy, we stayed up till like 3:30 in the morning. I got up at 7:30. I've had a total of like 8 hours in total. But I'll stop jamming it on. Let's get to the next podcast. What do you think about the next Call of Duty, man? Have you played the beta?
Oh my god. I was just playing that earlier. Um, I like the new Call of Duty. I think it's very movement based. Uh, and there's some things that could be changed. I'm pretty sure they're gonna change some stuff based off the statistics that they get from this previous beta that they just released. I believe that there's potential to grow. Everybody's not gonna like certain CODs. Um, Everybody talks about how Black Ops was the best COD ever. Not true. I'm old enough to understand that back then people hated the fuck out of the game. Like they didn't like it at all. Um, so people saying it's like the most goated COD of all times. That's not true. And the hackers were like hackers and glitches. I think glitches were very big back then. So it was like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of that stuff going on constantly. So um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like it needs to seek potential. I think what makes COD a good COD is what the developers put into it with the time that they have. If
Mm-hmm.
they can adjust to the community and do good by the community, then that's what makes it a good COD.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about that.
I haven't played the new beta yet, but I've watched clips. It reminds me a lot of Cold War. I don't know why. Every clip I see, I'm like, I'm watching Cold War. I'm like the where it says killed and like you get your score. I'm like, this is Cold War all over again. I'm like, Cold War, it was a good COD, but I don't want to go into this COD being the exact same thing. And I started out in Ghost, so I missed all the hype. I missed Black Ops 1, I missed Black Ops 2. I missed all the good Call of Duties. I started out in Ghost. I still say my favorite game is Black Ops 3. Out of all the games I played, Black Ops 3 is the best Call of Duty that I've ever played, which is a big take, but the campaign was shit. You got to say that. Campaign was shit for Black Ops 3. Multiplayer, some people say it was mid. I say it was pretty good. And the zombies, you just can't beat the zombies for Black Ops 3. Absolutely not. So I think Black Ops 3 was a solid Call of Duty. Now, I'm going to say a wild take. I don't know if you'll believe it or not, but Call of Duty World War II, in my opinion, if it wasn't for Fortnite, it would have been the most popular Call of Duty of all time. I honestly think so. That is my wild take of Call of Duty.
Yeah, and then my take on that is yes, and then there's a lot of other benefactors like Call of Duty at the time didn't learn how to adjust to social media. Like they did their events, but it wasn't like heavy like social media presence. And I feel like if they would have learned how to get more youth involved into their games, even though it's not really made for youth or just made it for young adults, then they would have more active people playing their games because
Mm-hmm.
that's the audience that they need to cater to, not some old person who complaining about the game.
Yeah.
So
Because, I mean, who cares about. They should do like more pollings towards the younger generation. And I mean, not like kids, because obviously you can't go. It's M for 17. You can't really go below 17. But like
right,
college students, go to a college, an opinion on it. Go have a have a release at a college. Just rent out a whole venue, invite a college, and have all them play, and then interview them, or have them write down and put what they want in like a bucket, or just say what they thought about the game or what they could change or stuff about it. You know what I mean? But
hmm
we could say the same thing about like leagues and stuff. They don't cater to the player anymore. Just like Call of Duty doesn't cater to the player as much. They want to try and get the next best Call of Duty or something new, or they want to remaster Call of Duty, which remastering's okay and all, but it gets boring after a while. When you have two remastered games back to back, it gets a little boring. But then when you have leagues that just run it, you go for money, you just play the game and run it for money, it gets boring. But when you have an actual league that cares about the player, which
right.
could happen possibly in the future, I think that's a big thing. We need to focus on the player and have it to feel like you're actually in a pro tournament.
Yeah, I think that having that feel, like you said, for an environment in which people thrive to be a part of outweighs like, all right, I'm gonna just work on the game, put it out, do our monthly schedule maintenance, whatever we can fix here or there if we choose. So if it's not that big of a project, we're gonna move on to it because that's how you lose people. And I feel like they've been fighting. It's been a struggle with keeping the community stable and growing. Supposedly there's supposed to be more people coming back to COD, but it just again it depends on that first how they deal with this first initial wave of problems. If they address it, if they involve the addressing on social media, because I have never openly seen them say anything about, hey, we did this for you guys until Treyarch just got involved with this game and they're being more active on social media about, hey, y'all asked for this, we threw it in there for you. Like that's something new. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't get that from them that much. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something different. So if they can openly show that, hey, we are working on these bugs. Hey, we are trying to incorporate the small things that matter to you guys, and I think it'll work out in the long run.
Yeah, for me, Call of Duty, like my passion for Call of Duty kind of died when the Modern Warfare's back to back, the remasters, they killed my passion. And for me, yes, I didn't play Modern Warfare in its prime, but I played like Modern Warfare 2019, which was a great Call of Duty. There is no saying, but Just putting this out there. I did have somebody say that Modern Warfare 2019 is overrated and is possibly one of the worst Call of Duties of all time. And I almost shit my pants when I heard that. I don't know who said it. I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it. Saying that was one of the worst Call of Duties of all time. And that was pretty bad. But passion for Call of Duty is just not there as much as it used to.
Yeah, yeah. And we all praying and hoping that we get something good out of this card. And I don't know. I'm just leave it at that because I want to see what they do with it. I want to see how they with the league, the CDL league changing. I want to see how all these adjustments are going to be made to make the scene better for the people, not just for money. 'Cause these last couple cards have been clearly about money.
That's all it is. I mean, hell, just throwing it out there, Fortnite's brought back the OG map. And yes, I've played Fortnite. I think that they have such a big platform. They have other modes and maps you could play. Like, why don't you just bring back what you had and then have your new map if you want? You know what I mean? I don't understand why
Right.
Fortnite doesn't do that. They have such a big platform and so many players. They could easily do it. Hell, they had a wait time when they first brought the map back. And when you got on, there was like 2.4 million players playing. It was like 3 in the morning playing the OG map. That is insane. And then Call of Duty wants to bring back their old stuff, but it's just not as good as it used to be. Because you're
Yeah,
not
they kind of took that away from us when you keep bringing back maps that people don't want to play. You bring back a whole bunch of maps that we didn't ask for. We didn't ask for these things. It don't even feel like when they bring back old school maps, it just feel like oh they just getting over on us. Like it's not like they're not offering us anything new. We always got to get stuck with the OG maps. And not only that, the updated maps that they do release be OG maps. And I'm like, well, why are we still getting these maps? Why can't y'all be creative enough to be confident or be confident enough to release these projects that y'all have been working on? What's the holdup? Why dump these projects and not just let us play them and then y'all fix the bugs?
yeah, it's kind of crazy and it's kind of hard for org owners because when you have such a like redone Call of Duty and just a copy and paste of a Call of Duty just put right back into it with like 3 new maps. It's kind of hard to keep players. They don't want to play as much as they used to, or all the old players that like the game, they don't want to compete. So then all the new
Right.
players, they don't want to play the old maps. They aren't used to them. Two, they just don't care anymore. They want something new. And as much as I hate to say it, I think we need a futuristic COD. I think we do. And just like throwing it out there because we've been boots on the ground for a long time. We had Advanced
Right.
Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare for a couple years. And that was okay. But we only have one futuristic point of Call of Duty. Why don't we have another futuristic point? We just keep going back. We went to World War II, we went to Cold War, and then I don't know. I mean, World War II, that was a great game in my opinion. Great game. Very underrated. And people will put it at the bottom, like when they do the tier list, they'll put it at like a D. I'm like, did you even play that COD at all? I said, that COD was amazing. Headquarters. You can go do 1v1s in the lobby while waiting. You have get crates, you have daily missions, and you walk around and do dances and stuff. Or there's Easter eggs and headquarters, and then the war mode. I love the war mode. Holy shit. That was so much fun. The war mode in World War II, that was amazing. But that's just my opinion. I'm getting on a spill about Call of Duty right now, and Just what it
you know.
is. So what's been going on in the org? Anything new?
Uh, Literally just working on a couple of projects with the U18 league, and then as of recently, uh, with another league as well. I got put on that team to help work with stuff and show my talent or whatever. Um, and also, I guess because this wasn't a part of the last one that we did, finishing up the challengers team. So we got two people, two really good people.
That's great.
Uh, One of them's really well known in the scene.
That's good.
Everybody knows who he is, and then we just gonna feed off of that and just get two more great people. So finishing up that and trying to figure out what events I'm gonna get them to for the upcoming season, and then also working to get more content creators. And then I also decided this morning when I woke up this morning because I needed to sleep about it about investing into a female COD team. So
Oh shit, yeah.
um, that all will be in the works. I am gonna put the post about that pretty soon. You are the first to know, so you get the exclusive take on that about me wanting to do that. It's always been in my mind. I always want to at least try it, have it work with a group of women, and help brand them and expose them to more people and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that might work in my favor. I got my hands definitely
You
into a
definitely
lot of
going
things.
full.
So
But
yeah, so
my my opinion on that, I mean, that could go lots of ways. And like I could see problems with it, I can see pros with it. Because I never ventured into female like COD teams, but obviously I've seen the leagues, the female COD league and stuff, and it's not a very big scene as it is regular COD scene, but you get into, I mean, hell, just for shits and gigs, there's going to be less free agents. Not a lot of females are going to be playing it. You could
right,
have that happen, or you can have an overflow of players. Not a lot of orgs want to pick them up. Or, I mean, you could go any way with this. I mean, or you could have, and I'm not going to say it, but like problems between male and female players, bring them together in the org, which I've seen it happen in other orgs, which is not a very good thing, but hopefully that wouldn't happen for Galaxy. But
yeah. If that and I'm gonna say this, it's very very nice without being super mean to people feel like they should hate me. Um, I'm not the one to put up with that. Don't play with me. Do not play with me. Don't come in my work thinking you finna just do whatever you used to doing. This is a business for me first before anything,
oh yeah.
and then we can be family and friends afterwards. But you gonna get your work done first, and you gonna be respectful while you doing it. So, and I don't play about disrespecting women, or I feel like women shouldn't disrespect anybody. So, if they got little attitudes, little stank attitudes, or whatever, it ain't gonna work with me. They probably just gonna end up not being with us anymore. So, I be sure to make people know that upon joining the organization that I'm super serious, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm not playing those type of games with people, because at the end of the day, I'm spending money on you, and my return is basically people watching you guys play, people being involved, and I want my return. I don't want anything negative put out for my brand. This is the only thing that I have. This is one of my lifelong dreams to do what I'm, you know, to be in this position. Eventually, I kind of got thrown into it, but I'm in it now, so I'm gonna do it the best way that I know. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if I set the expectations, there's no need to talk about it later.
Yeah, I can. For me, I don't think I would ever venture into it. Like maybe when I got big enough, but like where Frosted Vipers was, I don't think I would have ever ventured in the female COD league. I never thought about it. I've seen it and I thought it was cool. And I was like, it would be cool to have a female team. But then I'm like, I could have a female team that could also compete in regular leagues. But like, you know what I mean? Because there's like controller only leagues, console only leagues, PC leagues, cross platform leagues. anything leagues, or they have all types of leagues anymore. And I feel like we just need one. I feel like we just need one general league that has major, medium, small leagues. It has one big organization that runs big, medium, small, that can do controller only or anything, or you could do female or U18. I feel like one big organization would be great, and then to not sell out the Call of Duty, because a lot of people just sell out the COD. As soon as they get something good going, they just quit. They're just like, I'm done. Let's sell out. We got the bag. That's all we wanted. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, you gotta know people's intentions, man. You just can't go into something and not dig in people's minds, and figure out what their intentions are. I think that's a bad for business. Like a lot of people, I guess it's about how you treat your organization. Is it a business or is it a community? Is it a friend group? Um, do you want to go competitive? Do you want serious content creators? Do you not want serious content creators? It's all about how you want and how you want people to perceive what you got going on. Um, I was a high believer in giving people a chance, but after giving so many people a chance, I've known better to just give people a chance who I believe are working towards their goals and deserve a chance.
Yeah, and I'm really glad you took a chance on me, especially bringing me up higher, because I knew when I first ended Frosted Vipers and Lunar, when I came back, when I downloaded Discord, I came back and I released a message. I'm officially done, and I'm not going to come back unless I get a paid position. But I said I'll never own an organization again, which I still stand by that. I will never own one again unless I'm high up and I'm serious about it. And it's a bigger organization than I have ever had before. I think I'd be open to it. But like, I don't know. It's you took the opportunity on me. I'm glad because I see our plans coming together. I see big things in the future between me and you, especially our project that we have. I think that is going to, once we get that kick started with BO6, I think it's going to go a long way. It's going to beat a lot of the amateur people right out of the water. They're not going to see it coming. And then a lot of people think we're just going to be one and done. We can't be one and done. We got to push through and push out multiple things. I'm trying so hard not to spoil it for because I know you want it to be a surprise, but we just got to push out and produce every single time what we got and just become better and better and have the retention that other people wouldn't have.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. So and another thing is, I think I might have said this before. Whoever's like watching this, just make sure you work towards your goals. You do it the right way. Um, you listen, you try to grow. Don't come to orgs with nothing to offer when you don't have anything to offer yourself. Um, and know what you want. I think the biggest thing against people is time. You never get your time back. I think I was high advocate when we did this before about time. Um, just pay attention to what you do with your time, and if something is worth your time, then pursue it.
another thing that I'll add to that, that's great. Be consistent. I know we talked about that before. Be consistent with your work. Whether that's real life or in a game, esports, just in life, be consistent. And almost any lesson that you hear, you could easily put it towards something else and towards life, and you'll be a better person in general. Because you can't be consistent, and you have to be consistent to be good, no matter what it is.
Right.
Like for me, I lost 100 pounds, and I had to be consistent. I couldn't just quit. I did quit at one point. I will say this: I did quit at one point, but I had a powerlifting meet, and I had the choice. I was let's see, I was 290. I had 8 weeks to cut to 275. Wait, no, it was 5 or 6 weeks to cut to 275, or I could stay in the 308 weight class. I was dead center in the middle, and I just decided to quit and stay in the 308. But I was consistent. I started in January 23 and cut down to 242 by June. And I was very consistent. And you just can't do that without being consistent. You can't have the
Right.
cheat days. You can't have. I did have cheat days, but I didn't do it healthfully. But you can't just go and not work out. You can't just decide to be like, oh, I'll be able to splurge today. And then the next day, you're going to be like, I'll splurge today. I had this just not last week, but the week before. I moved out on my own, so I buy a lot of my own groceries. I've got these honey roasted nuts in the fridge, and every time I be cooking some, I'll grab a handful and put some in my mouth, and I do it again and again. And once one, it's just going to become more. And you got to lock down on what you want, and you got to be consistent. Like he said, you got to know what you want. If you want to be an org owner, you got to dedicate yourself to it. Dedication. You can't just sit back and have all the players come to you. You got to work for that. Jeff Bezos didn't do that. Elon Musk didn't do that. They dedicated their life, and they worked 60 to 80 hours a week to put their company on the top of the earth. Amazon, Facebook, Target, Walmart, you name it. They didn't just sit back and relax. They had to fight in a lot of companies. And you can listen to podcasts from other entrepreneurs, such as First Form owner Andy Frisella. He was sleeping in his own shop for the supplements because he had no money. He was putting every last bit of dedication he had into that. But he used everything he possibly could to dedicate himself to it. And now look where he's at. He has First Form. He's writing books. He drives Rolls Royces everywhere. You just got to dedicate yourself. You got to know what you want, and you just can't just sit there and take it. And just a lot of it. Org owners, I'll see it. We talked about it before. The end's coming, and they have an opportunity to merge, and they just don't take it. I was a dumbass that didn't take it with Vigor, or Vigor, whatever you want to call him. I was a dumbass that didn't do it. But you gotta know the realistic problems too. You gotta know when things are coming to the end. It's just a lot of it too.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot. You got to just make do it what you can, and make the right decisions, and not try to hang on to something that's dying. I know we spoke about this before. I really don't want to go into too much detail, but just look at what you have versus what can be. Some opportunities are good or better for the good. Even if you don't have to get rid of your org and you just stop business for it, you'll still have it at the end of the day. It's not like it's gone or you deleted anything. You just put your effort that you had into your org into something else, and now you have people with the same energy around you help it grow.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the energy. I was, and I'm trying to reiterate on a lot of the stuff I said because obviously my mic cut out. But I was a 16-year-old sitting in the middle of class, sitting on my phone, recruiting left and right, going to website, to Twitter, to anything, recruiting every single player I can. This guy looks good. I do my homework as fast as I can. And then it's next player, next player, next player. Get him in the Discord. Let's get him a tryout. This, that. I was dedicated to have the team work. And people would come to me after and be like, I don't know how you did it. You were a 16-year-old in high school and you were recruiting while in the middle of class. I'm like, yeah, I was in the middle of study hall. Yeah, I was in the middle of physics. Or, yeah, I was in the middle of geometry. I just had to do it. I couldn't just sit there and not do anything. If I wanted it, I had to do it. But I started the team with Lego. When he left me, I didn't have somebody else to help me. I had to do it all myself. And that's, you could, Dangerous could probably relate to that with T leaving. He had to do it all himself. And you were kind of like almost a co owner, weren't you?
Yeah, just co-owner of the thing, and um, like I've said before, T's a great person. You just sometimes you have to, I guess, get real life situations together and realize what you want to do and how you want to do it, and if it doesn't fit for you, then you have to, move on with your life or learn to adjust. So, um, and I had to adjust a lot of times. I've been co-owner, I've been over management, I've recruited players, I've done all types of crazy stuff. So, um, some at some times it's going to be your turn to do what you need to do in life. I just say try to figure out something that you love to do and put your real life situations first. When I say that, I mean like family. All that stuff comes first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to try and keep this short and simple. We're about 40 minutes deep. I want to keep this short and simple because at the beginning of this, I'm going to say skip to this point if you want to hear the first podcast. And this is when the second part of the podcast starts. But I'm going to keep this short and simple. I'm going to do some overlay, put my voice over the old stuff, and respond to what he says. And we're going to make this one big podcast. So this is probably going to be about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hour podcast. But I kind of wanted to keep this short and simple and sweet. So this podcast will be the next big thing. And I believe this podcast will go far. And this podcast might not be the best one that we're going to have, but we're going to have some good ones in the future. I'm excited to work with Dangerous on it too. This guy's a great guy. I've talked to him multiple times. You guys need to check out Galaxy. Check out his socials. He's doing a lot of big things in the COD scene. He's going to U18. He's messing with other leagues. He's projects, Galaxy. This guy's a great guy, and he's a great guy in general. I love to talk to this guy. He's a funny guy to talk to, and just hanging out in VC. So I highly recommend you guys to check out Galaxy. It'd help me. It'd help him. And make sure to check out my socials. You have the link tree. You can find any of mine. Any of my socials, you can find a link tree. You got anything else to say, Dangerous, before we cut out of here?
Mm, um, Not really. Stay dangerous. Stay safe. Have fun. And go out there and be great.
That's a great way to end it. Just be great. Remember, check out Galaxy Gaming LLC on Twitter. You can find all their link. You can find all their links in their link tree. Same with me. Make sure to give him a follow. Give me a follow. We'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.
See